Solo Leveling Episode 1 explained in 8 minutes. 3 years ago, a fleet of warships surrounded a small island. They don't bother firing conventional weapons. The crew knew they will not affect the monsters on the island. Instead, it's a fight for the hunters to handle. Hunters from Jeju Island raiding squad assembled to take down the red ants emerging from the forest. Men and women bearing swords, shields, daggers, and magic bravely faces off against gigantic ants. But the low-ranked hunters are overwhelmed by attacking monsters. All hope seems to lost until a hooded man leaps into the fray. He heals one of the badly hurt hunters as his two allies takes care of the remaining beasts. The three heroes are S-rank hunters Min Byung-ju, Inosuk, and Baek Yuno, who steps in to save them. During the fight, a giant white ant challenges Yuno, who easily defeats it. Soon after, more white ants join the fray against Yuno and Inosuk. Nearby, Choi Jong in watches the forest battle from a city, launching a fiery assault on a group of advancing ants, then signals his team, Hunters Guild, to advance. 10 years earlier, gates linked to an alternate dimension suddenly opened around the world. Magic beasts poured through. At the same time, new magical abilities capable of taking on the monsters awakened in some humans. Those people became known as hunters. They are ranked according to the power they contain, from E rank, the lowest, to D, C, B, A, and S rank, the highest. Their powers remain at the level they awakened, never growing any stronger. 3 years later, present day, in a construction site, the infamously known weakest hunter, Sung Jinwoo, arrives to join the other hunters in the raid that soon begins. Despite being the weakest, Jinwoo is not disliked, but seeing him called in for a job means that the raid will be an easy-going one. The other hunters greet him amiably. Sung greets Lee Juhee, a healer he's worked with before. She dismayed to see his injuries from previous job and reminds him to be careful. He sits down and chats for a brief moment with her. Regardless of the risk of continuing to work as a hunter due to his lack of hunter abilities, he is not bothered being called the weakest and tells her he is used to it. Sung Chiu, the team leader, soon gathers the rest of the team together as he introduces himself before entering the gate of the dungeon. As the raid gets underway, Sung checks that he has his weapon. It's a low power knife, but it's all he can afford. Gaining confidence, Sung Jinwoo is the last to enter the portal. Elsewhere, the Korean Hunter Association chairman Go Guni discusses the finer points of the dungeon raids with his assistant Wo Jinchul. Go Guni tells him that the research found inside Essence Stone collected by defeating a magical beast are in high demand by the current administration. As such, hunters can make a living by selling them. Essence Stones can be used to make weapons and gear. The government is researching ways to use them as source of clean, safe energy. Back in the dungeon, Jinwoo is overjoyed when he finds his very first essence stone, but his happiness is short-lived as a magical beast attacks him. He is seen struggling against a goblin wielding a machete. He attempts to stab the goblin, only to his shock it shatters before getting stabbed back in the stomach. Succumbing from his injuries on the floor, Park Ji-sul, a team member, takes out the goblin along with Juhee healing him from his stab. The Riot team defeats the dungeon boss, a werewolf, and celebrates as they loot. While Jinwoo watches from a distance, recovering from his wounds, Juhee, concerned, yells out her worries to him as she heals him. Then Jingo discovers a cave entrance to rare double dungeon and shares the news. The team decides to vote on whether to explore it for more loot. Jinwoo holds the deciding vote on whether to enter the cave, while Juhee votes against it. Jinwoo is a sole earner for his family. His dad is missing, his mother is in the hospital, and he is helping to pay for his sister's college education. He needs the money, so he votes to go into the depths of the dungeon. Now, in the building of Hunters Guild, Yo Jinho is seen entering a room upon standing in front of a machine. Meanwhile, in a city, two purse snatchers on a motorcycle attempts to flee after stealing a woman's bag. A striking young woman leaps into the air, effortlessly retrieves the purse and takes out the thief in one graceful move. Bystanders recognize her as the S-rank hunter Chaheen, who then gives the bag back to its owner. Her actions draw the attention of nearby citizens, promoting them to gather around her. Uncomfortable with the attention, Cha flees using her agility, leaping onto nearby buildings. Back to Jinwoo and his team as they trek through the cave for 40 minutes. Jinwoo apologized to Juhi for his decisive vote to enter the cave, which led to their current predicament. Juhi, visibly frustrated, admonishes Jinwoo for repeatedly endangering himself, recalling the difficulty of healing his wounds last time. Overcome with guilt, Jinwoo feels remorse for burdening Juhi with his injuries. Sensing Jinwoo's sadness, Juhi reassures him, suggesting that he should treat her some time to thank her for her unwavering support. Eventually, they reach the end of the tunnel and encounter a massive door. They decided to open it and venture into the unknown room beyond. Meanwhile, Chairman Go Guni addresses the newly awakened individuals, warning them about the dangers of becoming hunters. Guni emphasizes that even experienced hunters must remain vigilant. He advises them to always stay cautious, never grow arrogant or careless. He offered a simple but important piece of advice that would serve them all else. Please be afraid, as it is crucial for survival. As Jinwoo and his team entered, the giant room inside began to light up with blue flames. Expecting to face magic beasts and rare loot, the team is confused as to what the place appeared to be with all of the ancient statues and instructions. Juhi notifies Jinwoo that she just caught the biggest statue in the room, staring at them with him assuring that she must be seeing things. Out of the blue, the door loudly shuts itself, making one of the team members leave in a hurry as he tries to push the door. But to their horror, one of the statues guarding the entrance brutally slaughters him with its weapon before getting back to its position. Horrified to witness the statue coming to life, the team members are left speechless, leading Jinwoo to turn around and stare at the biggest statue that Juhi warned him about. Sung Jinwoo thinks about all the other close calls he had in dungeons, from sustaining horrible wounds to nearly starving to death. After surviving for this long, Jinwoo knew right away what would happen next. Suddenly, the gaze of the giant statue shifted towards him. Reacting just in time, Jinwoo screamed for his comrade to duck as the statue's eye began to unleash an attack. A destructive light beam launches at the hunters, incinerating a few of them to ashes. Opening their eyes, the hunters' horror only further increased. Jinwoo saves Juhi's life, but quickly realizes that they are in grave danger. And that's the end of the episode 1. If you want to watch more anime explained videos, you can click on any of these videos, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.